So, hello and welcome to the etcd robustness test meeting. Today is July 16th, and our agenda is it has I added a couple of points, but as always, please feel free to add your own topics. We have a section for that, so if you want to ask any questions relevant to etcd, its correctness, how to test it, and how we use antithesis, feel free to add the topic at any point. But if there are no other topics, I think we can just jump into discussion of a continued discussion from last week around the watch correctness issue. That's weird. Okay. So yeah, last week we were looking at this issue, which had two or addition of new traffic pattern to in robustnesses and antithesis has found issues with how etcd handles future revision. This had showed as two different errors and that break separate property. Last week we were discussing how we fixed the broken bookmarkable here, which is a property based on progress notification. So we found that etcd can send progress notifications, old progress notification on future if the watcher requests a future revision. And from that time, we managed to debug and fix second part of the issue, which is linked in the document as just a PR, which is situations where etcd can return lower revision after restore to a watch or to restore to etcd if there was a watch opened on a future revision. So if you want to read, I think that's high level, like summarize the issue. If you want to read it, how we tested it and other stuff. The maybe one interesting background how this was debugged and fixed. So for that case, we needed some more heavy lifting. So compared to the first issue, which was reproducible locally, which allowed us to like debug it like using robustness test. Here we went, we were not able to run it, so we went with trying to debug it by antithesis. In the end, this this was done by the debugging was done by adding a very specific, sorry for formatting, antithesis assertions. So we instrumented heavily the etcd server and client code on doing assertions. I don't know if this can be, you can read it clearly. GitHub is bad with that. Let me try to just view file. Yeah, so that was the new instrumentation that was added. It includes both antithesis assertions and printf statements. Unfortunately, there was no better way for us to debug it. The final thing, the antithesis assertions seem to help with reproducibility of the issue, so it made it appear more often and more. So it prompted the platform to test this part of the code more, and the printf statements were critical to basically tracing what happened. So we didn't manage to get hang of debugger, but we just got a dump of everything would happen. So if you read this code, like it just says like it allowed us to have full trace of what event revision, what progress event was sent on each server with its ID, and it allowed us to correlate it. Yeah. So if you look at issues, you can it put the important part look like this. So if you know enough about watch, you could read this and understand why there is a problem on it. I don't know if I need to go further into that. Maybe the only information, like final debugging, was just like understanding what order in what order the events are sent and what order things happen, and then correlating with that what is happening with other etcd logs which pointed out that there was a restore, and basically reading through code and trying to understand, oh, like this situation can only happen if we do that, and that pointed out me to the code, which like the fix is pretty small. This is the fix, like it's one line. So basically the problem was that resynchronization logic assumed that it only handles unsynchronized watchers. So after it, the loop here identifies which events sent to which asynchronous. This is like resynchronization for watchers that are behind. This logic decides which events to send to which watcher, and after it sends all the events, it marks that this watcher, its new mean revision updates the mean revision based on the latest state of that CD. But if you can think of, this doesn't work if the watcher what is in future, so it has future revision. Normally there should not be in this code or a watcher that is in future or is synchronized should not be touching this code. But if you read the resynchronization code for or if you read the restore code, so if etcd restores and etcd gets a snapshot from other member, for safety we mark all watchers as unsynchronized because we don't know what snapshot we'll get, if the snapshot will be in future or in present or in like very old snapshot. We don't know. Like we just need to assume that, oh, we need to resynchronize some members. So like this meant that that logic doesn't work because watching future like that logic would move the minimal revision for watching future. So that's why we are adding the max here. And that's the fix. Rest of the PR is just tests because those cases were not really tested well enough. Unfortunately, like the etcd as a project is very large code base, and it's hard to predict which cases it's a 10-year-old project, so it's hard to predict which cases are more or less important. And we are doing the testing of the contract we are testing like full etcd correctness just to make sure that this can automate finding which places need more testing or have bugs because of that. Because fixing it one by one would be a Herculean task. So that's for the watch correctness. Are there any questions to that? If not, I think we can move.
I think it's a cool find. It's a cool find.
Excuse me?
I think it's a pretty cool find, the watch bug.
Yeah, so maybe, yes, this is a very good find. It was, how I would say it, it just showed us how like easy is to forget a full dimension in like testing approaches. So the problem was our testing assumed that a client will never ask about watch on future revision. Like we don't really test revision like broadly. We test a little bit revision, like we test revisions in the past, but we never test, like we don't really do better like broad testing of revisions in the future. And like how good, because it's a moving window, it's hard to say how good we are with testing like the window that is like shifting with window, where we hit, like you're basically, there is a moving target and you're like blindly throwing darts and hope that you hit the good place, like good places. So there is some work I'm planning. I think there is a contributor that I want them to propose a method to test future revisions both for watch and for reads, and to and for him to also like try to measure how good we are in the coverage. We don't like need huge coverage, but would be good that there is some coverage of all of the window, like because it's not trivial, because you're not guaranteed that you will always hit it well. So I think here antithesis was very good to reproduce the issue at the current state. I think the next step is to one next step is to test cover or cover future revisions. Cover future testing future revision. So antithesis was able to reproduce a very narrow window of events happening. I'm not 100%, or I'm still thinking that this could be covered by just normal testing and robustness, assuming we just directly test the future revisions and not depend on lack of the draw. So I think one thing we definitely can improve is to test most broader revisions. This includes watch and get, or like range and get. Here, the only difference in range and get, we expect to get future revision not available, so for an error. And for watch is unique here because it should block until the watch is or wait until the revision is available. I'm also possibly there could be other issues with watch on future revisions. What happened when you open a very like watching very future? That's why I'm interested in that. And this is not something that or this is something that we can just do like manually, or I would say if we explicitly cover this should be much better and allow us to reproduce in every environment. And second thing,
Quick
yeah,
question. Do we want to also set up like a CI to maybe run the antithesis test nightly, like automatically? Because I think right now they might be ad hoc. Is that correct?
yeah, there, yes. I was hoping, or I need to file an issue. That's a like good thing. I need to file an issue for that because
Okay.
I discussed it with a contributor. He had already PR, and this PR we didn't merge, and then it was like stayed behind. So
Okay.
run, yeah. So the only limitation is here. Like there's some like I don't think we should block it on it, but yeah, we previously discussed whether we should send to some email groups so that the reports are publicly available. Let's just ignore that and just I mean I'm okay with just sending to my email or like I know that should be good enough for
Yeah,
now.
just touching on that briefly. So it's like a bit of an echo. For our Q3 plans, we're gonna add GitHub auth. So I think that might be useful in this case, so that the reports can be sent to like a GitHub authenticated runs dashboard. So people who are authenticated through GitHub will be able to view the runs dashboard, so they don't just have to be sent to your email. So that's something that our engineers are going to be working on for Q3. I think that would be good in this case. So
uh, yeah, I would love to have something like the test grid to allow us to just see full matrix of what test when test was run. I know which environment or like version of etcd this it tested and what
yeah,
assertions passed or failed and how many times, things like that. So having a view on history would be very useful. Having a public dashboard or
yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know. I don't know how much granularity we could expect, but my hope would be we can make the dashboard and the test results like public, and I don't write access for editing things like configuration or something like that. That should be restricted. So we don't or anyone can overview, edit, and propose improvements to tests, but not everyone can. But we don't risk anyone like publicly
Yeah,
editing.
yeah, and like we're gonna totally like welcome all feedback. So when we're like rolling this thing out, is that if there's like something that you like would want to be added, like we'll make sure that if it's feasible, the engineers will get it out there too. So like feedback is appreciated when we start rolling this out Q3.
Sure, and that's really good. So let me know that. So that should solve this like issue. And so definitely we should like get to nightly. I don't know, Joshua, are you interested like finishing? Because I think Henry is not very active and
Yeah,
this
sure, I can do that. Yeah.
yeah, so just comment on this issue that or like uh, and propose your version.
Should we like ping him again and then wait for a few days?
uh, uh, I mean, sure, you can ping him, but it's like this PR has been up for from April.
Okay, got it. I'll just ping him and maybe wait for 2, 3 days, maybe. Yeah. After
Okay,
this weekend. Yeah.
sounds good. Mm. Okay. Uh, second, or think I stopped one lesson learned from the correctness. Um, it was about antithesis assertions. Looks like Marcus, you were right. Like they really can help to find the issue, and so I proposed an issue to rewrite the existing etcd, like also like assertions, like they're called differently and they have different meaning. But there is a work by Nont. I don't know if he's here.
Yeah, and just to provide some more like context and I guess details around this, like the antithesis assertions, whenever we hit them, our fuzzer like makes note of that and like um basically logs it as like a state that is interesting, and especially if those assertions fail. So what our like exploration tactics will do is that like if we do hit a state that our fuzzer thinks is interesting, it's going to start exploring again from a state previously that led up to that interesting state to see if we hit it again. And so it'll do that thousands of times. And that's just like an exploration tactic that we do if like you're interested in asserting some sort of function or like method. So yeah, it helps guide the exploration.
Yeah, so we have existing etcd, like it's called verify, or like functions that we assertion that we only test or run lazily, or they only run in testing environment, so that we would cut. We don't want to. It's or those validations are costly to execute, but they're important for correctness. So in default etcd, if you run it, you will not run those assertions. But if you pass an environment variable, like I think this one, like etcd verify, that we do in testing, this will switch it to start to panic. etcd will panic in that situations. Our goal is to have a placeholder to do that, to be able to replace it when we run antithesis. So in the end, when we compile for antithesis, we would replace the placeholder, like the exist etcd verification, with antithesis verification. Yeah. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So I hope this will help. I got agreement from the second, like maintain. There is some discussion ongoing because we have different types of assertions. Ones are always running, ones others. So we need to clean it up. So like high level, there is ongoing discussions between maintainers, but we have at least two maintainer, one other maintainer that has already approved. I'm just waiting for confirmation from the third. So and this will be agreed on and we can merge. That would make awesome. I think there is one more thing that we could do in this area, but I think I wanted to ask Marcus. So there is another way that we do the or mark in etcd interesting points. I think I mentioned it before multiple times, but etcd, like robustness tests and overlay testing, does failure injections in interesting places using a library that was developed by previous maintainers to do. And those are like the interesting places to inject, I don't know, a panic, a sleep, or something. So, for example, just before transaction or just after transaction, or fsync to disk. My question is, can we add something similar to assertion that makes the antithesis exploration interested in those places when we don't have anything to assert?
Yes. So if you are interested in a place to inject a fault, I think instead of doing an assertion that states that like always this condition should be true, we support an assertion type called a reachability assertion that basically just like says, have we reached this part of code? That's all it really says. And it'll say yes or no at the end of a test run. But what that reachability assertion provides, in addition to telling you that we did reach this part of code, it tells like the fuzzer, similar to the always assertion. It says that like, oh, we hit an SDK assertion, but it's like a reachability one. So our fuzzer will also spend more time exploring around reachability assertions. So even though it doesn't like assert a condition to be true or false, it does say that like, oh, we'll reach this part of code and we'll explore around it because there is an assertion there. So you can kind of use reachability assertions in this case just to tell us like, okay, spend more time exploring in this area, if that helps.
Yeah, I forgot about this. Like there are places that are not reachable without certain conditions.
Okay.
That be a problem?
So yeah, like is it like possible? How do I phrase this? I guess like if you run a robustness test and then like let's say you put an antithesis reachability assertion in there somewhere, like it doesn't matter like if like would you expect to hit it like a few times or never?
It depends on traffic. So for example, we have such failure or
Traffic
like
profiles.
marking in the places that handles a specific type of request, or certain event like exchange of snapshots. So might be situations that we don't send these requests. Like if I don't know if if you mark all of them at once, like if we mark or rewrite all existing go fail instructions to antithesis, I think there might be like places that we will not reach because it's because we don't do the type of request that is needed.
Okay, so it's more like you'd want an assertion that is like a reachability assertion, but also is like, hey, if you never even reach this reachability assertion, we don't care to begin.
Yes.
But if you happen to reach it, that would be great.
Yeah, like it's this is interesting.
Yeah.
But if you are able to reach it, like explore around it. But if you don't reach it, like don't fail the test.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if I don't remember from documentation, but if
that's definitely a good use case.
I mean, it's specific for us because like we have those like markings of like we have a place like transaction commit, and that's hits always because on every commit because it's very easy to do a commit. But there are sometimes like a cleanup of database, like a defrag, and I think we run defrag currently in antithesis, but I cannot give you a guarantee or some other type of request, and we might not hit it at all. Like, and so now like the tests start complex. I mean, maybe it means that it will guide our like development.
Yeah. Have you managed to take a look at the reachability assertion documentation? This is the sometimes assertion, but if you go out to the properties of assertion at the top left, there should be a different like type of assertion there. Oh, maybe this is the whole.
You mean index?
Yeah.
Assertions in antithesis.
Yeah, maybe that one here. Is there a reachability? No, not in this one.
Language.
Okay.
Yeah, the reachable. So we can call if we can have a name that's good enough for me.
Yeah. Cause yeah, the reachable is for like checks to make sure it's hit there at least once, and you don't need to define a condition.
This is sometimes.
But it's more like reachable. That's like if you reach it, fine. If you don't reach it, also fine. But if you do reach it, explore. That's kind of what it is.
I mean, I think I like the idea of might not be reachable now, but it means that we should write a test or modify the tests. Like it's not a
So-
bug, but it's
Okay.
something that it means we are not exploring
Enough. Because you
or
could run tests with different configs, right? Like so one test could like test this traffic profile and another test could test another. But
yes,
like
we do
between the two tests, it doesn't mean that you're gonna reach all the same parts of code. I think that's what you're trying to get at.
I'm more thinking about like if we there's exploration by automatic like the system like hypervisor like antithesis hypervisor that like guides the decision what fail points or what things to do, and there is separate reachability of development of us designing the test to be able to reachable. In fact,
Yeah.
that we are, and I think I'm okay with or I think it's good to test also development reachability, which means like if we get an error that something is not reachable, we can mark it as something that needs an improvement, not a bug in etcd, but something an improvement to plan for robustness. And
Yeah. That's a way to think about it too, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna ask our engineering team to see if there's something that we can support for this specific case. Maybe, but yeah, I'll let you know in Slack or this in the doc. So.
I mean, I think I would still would want to have them highlighted like in antithesis, maybe not a error, but some like warning. Like the difference for me, it's information. Oh, you haven't implemented the code to test this reachability as a assertion.
Right. So it's not really a red, like because a
It's not
red's
a
like
red code like you. I mean, because there is a difference between like still for me something should not be. Or where is it always like there is reachable? Is there unreachable? Like unreachable is if you reach this point, this is like horrible, like it's error, like your system
Yeah,
did something
that's
wrong.
right. Yeah.
But reachable means like you should hit this code, but like you don't have like you never can give guarantee that this code is reached. So
Yeah,
it just
okay.
means that your test is not written fully
Well enough or fully.
well
Yeah.
enough.
Okay. Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
I think this could be clarified that those or I don't know if this is clarified, but those have different power and
Yeah.
different like same like warning between and error.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's actually really good feedback. I'm gonna talk to our engineering team about that. Okay. Yeah, but I think I agree with you there.
So this is the issue. So let me file a new issue. But I wanted to see I wanted to read the previous bar just to copy a lot of context because it's the same context. So we want to, in place of go fail. So let me, and this is the same thing. Let me link to the like. Oh, I even mentioned go fail. HD to inform about inter.
I'm gonna have to drop for 5 minutes, but I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay. Yes, so HD has go file to comments for injecting layers. It would be great if we could instruct to explore around it. To this, we would like to have the option to on demand be able to rewrite etcd go fail comments to antithesis assertions. Let me copy this. Okay. So let's take a example of go fail comment. So in XD repo, if you look for go fail in code, it looks like this. Hopefully I showed the correct around it. Let me just link to reachable. So this to inform that this code. Just we can use this. So we want to place with assert. So assert reachable has two arguments, string and details. We don't need any details. So let's say we will replace it with this. And that's all. Sorry for taking time, but I think it want to get it done. Okay, any questions to this issue?
I have a read of it, yeah.
Can you repeat? Are Joshua are interested in?
Oh yeah, I'll have a read first. Yeah.
Yeah. So how to let's place and let's have sim place logic like so there is like would be good to just be consistent with the solution that was proposed by nodes. It should be merged. Hopefully it will be merged soon. It might conflict. We'll sorry about if it kicks if it like there is a code conflict, but just let's I think if we merge one, we should be able to merge the other after fixing the conflict. Okay, that's high level. It's for I think improvements or new development tasks. Any questions or ideas for things that we could improve for antithesis testing?
Hey, Mark, I'm back, but I think, yeah, I think those are two really good, next steps for the SDK searches and highly advanced methods. That's good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wrote like how it should look like. If I don't know if you was there, I didn't see. Look at the screen. So yeah, we would replace something like this with this, and that should have the similar effects, and we'll have unique in names. The fail points of go fail has a unique name too, which would make it easy to identify.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any maybe forgotten work in antithesis. Oh, this is like robustness related growing cluster. We have problem with that. Test revision returned by create. I don't remember this. Maybe. Okay, this is for robustness tests. This should be done. We have a run with a single node. Unfortunately, it didn't, at least during 12-hour exploration, it didn't find the or didn't reproduce the etcd durability, like the old issue of durability.
Do we
But
want to run more testing with that setup? Because I think
I
12
don't
hours.
think I care. Like, I don't think I
Oh.
care. I just cared about like covering this case and maybe trying to reproduce it, because
Sure.
we know that they're like, or finally enough someone made optimization to etcd that made created a problems when you have single node clusters. Hopefully there are not. So that was when we discovered a durability issue that technically every like the code was correct, but in this particular case, someone didn't catch an edge case. So I think it's still good to test, and maybe we could automate it, but it's not something that like reproducing this issue is not on like high priority. I don't know how often how often antithesis crashes the etcd, like kills the process. So I didn't want to, like, it's very easy to reproduce in robustness because we just crash. We know where to crash etcd and we just crash it at this moment.
Yeah. Let me think. Is the because with the for container crashes, we have to know the name of the container to crash. So I just making sure that like the single node was like called etcd0 or something would be good, because like if it was just called etcd and we didn't list it in one of the containers to crash, we would never crash that node because we have to like specify which containers to crash.
Oh, so you're saying you have put configuration that I haven't seen, so I would like we there is no one to coordinate
Yeah, because let's see,
this.
because I think in the Docker compose file is where the image names are specified for the container names.
Yeah, so it's the same name, like
Okay.
it's
Okay.
so
Yep, if that's the case so then we should, because right now we say if you see a node called etcd0, etcd1, or etcd2, then you're allowed to run the container crash fault script on it, basically.
why this part of configuration is not like injectable per test?
So I think we've actually built out for one customer the ability to specify which containers are allowed to be killed. But it's not like a product support feature for you guys. So like we can add it if that's interesting to you, like where you guys can specify which one's default and you can choose.
I'm just like maybe one thing that I noticed is you did or noticed but was not aware at the beginning is how much configuration you Marcus yourself put into the platform, like to make the things work as we like or as the requirements changed. And
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised that this configuration is not managed, version control managed and set in the test that generates this configuration instead of is put in some UI, because like the test would be best. The test knows how it should be run. Like fact that you have correlate two different sources of configurations, one in repository, second one put in your UI, seems like a hassle to make sure that you maintain it. If it was if we could just we could it would be easier if we could have the names and test that the name exists, or like yeah um
I hear you. Like, I think I mentioned earlier, but like our second half of the year plans are to make it like easier for the customers. So like giving you guys that control is definitely on the roadmap there, because right now it's a little bit, like manual configurations. It's not too um,
Mhm.
you know, easy. So yeah, that's definitely something that we're working on.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, I think that's all related to antithesis. If not, I think we can just quickly look at the robustness tests. Are there any questions regarding the antithesis and the work there? Okay, as we don't have nightly tests for, or we are working on nightly tests for antithesis, we don't have like results to review. Like last results were from debugging the previous issues, and I think we'll definitely, after we merge the PRs for that add assertions, definitely I hope that there will be a lot of new things to read and review. But yeah, if in the meantime we still have robustness testing running, and since fixing the issue, we went from flaky everywhere to just flaky to half of the on the dashboards, and so usually during the meeting we just look at the dashboard, try to find the flakes, and confirm that the flakes are uh, just flakes, not the bugs. This makes it easy for people to learn and make sure that it's updatable, and people can maybe join themselves by doing it early on, or trying them. Like as the dashboard is public, you can always try yourself to look at it and maybe help. The most common issue is the okay. There are two issues that are now common. One is the QPS one. Second one is the failure injection console. So there is a bug for that. I don't think I will look it for now. We don't have time. We'll just try to find a problematic, a new issue. So as I mentioned, the second issue is the QPS. So in robustness test, we validate we hit QPS because we just run on normal disk, or we think we are sometimes not hitting the performance goals that we have. But it's rare enough that we didn't invest too much time to fixing it. So yeah, sometimes we get 1000 QPS, sometimes we get 50, and we don't know. Like we think it's because of disk, but we don't know why. Sometimes even 30 QPS, and sometimes even lower. So this is, oh yeah, I've seen that once. There, I've seen a deadlock. Like I've seen robustness testing causing deadlock in Golang runtime. I don't know if you've seen that, but I don't know how this, like there is not, like there is a Go routine that is just Golang or Go internal libraries, and apparently deadlocks, and there is no answer why it does, but I've seen it once again. But yeah, we have a we run the tests frequently enough that we find deadlocks even in Golang runtime. QPS again, QPS and QPS. So fortunately or unfortunately, we went from intensive crisis mode of fixing the watchbugs to again boring QPS issues that are not actionable and are not a problem. So we had, you know, like 9 QPS or 8 QPS issue in context timeout. Yeah, so that's high level things we do for robustness tests. We try to find the common issue, discuss what we could improve, or or if we find the bug, we try to debug it. But fortunately, this time there is no thing to debug. I think that ends all the main agenda for the meeting. Last thing to maybe ask is, are there any suggestions on things we could do better, or are there any questions that we could still answer to make sure that everyone is on the same page?
I think all good on my side.
Right. Okay, awesome. Hopefully it's not too complicated and people are able to follow, and if they had questions they would ask questions. So if you have any feedback, please let us know, or send it privately if you don't want